Hello, my name's Daniel Smith, and today at TMR Records is an interview with Bobby Parr. So, Bobby, Robert in your full name.
Well,
you was born in Paddington, London.
I was.
On the 12th of May of 1942. And as a young child, you was moved during the war up to Rugby in Yorkshire. So, what memories do you have from that time?
Yeah, that's strange that you got all of that. Well, I was the reason I was sent up to Rugby. Actually, I went to Rugby.
Yeah.
Then I was brought back again because I was very ill.
Yeah.
So for 11 years of my life, they lost my parents.
Okay.
You know, I didn't lose my parents. I lost sight of my parents.
Yeah.
So I ended up going into various complexes, like such as. I can explain, like the various homes, like one was a residential school which was in Shirley, in Addington, Croydon, and you were put there while they were looking for your parents, if that makes sense. But then because they lost track of my parents and I was ill, and I had 11 years of illness, it wasn't to the age of 11 that I was in County Hall. And I'll always remember like a finger pointing out and saying, "That's my son. I'll know him anywhere."
Okay.
I then found I had a mother and father, 7 brothers and a sister. So there you are, some of it, you know.
Okay. And so from up until about not seeing your parents, it was 11, weren't you? You was 11 years old by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, how did your relationship with them? Was it a bit different from that point, or?
Well, I was a terribly posh little boy at the time. I said, "Mummy, could I go and play cowboys and Indians?"
Yeah.
So I was quite a strange sort of character when you think that I had 7 brothers and a sister, and they were all right down Cockneys. Born under Bowbell, was in Whittington, in Highgate, up in the Archway, whatever it is, Holloway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a strange case. I kind of almost like a black sheep.
Okay.
But then you see, I can't blame my mother or my father because my father was very ill. He had lung cancer.
Yeah.
And there was no money in those days, so life was tough. And we did move around a little bit, and I eventually ended up in, we moved to South London, Peckham, that part of the world.
Okay.
Then I think round about when I was about 16, I left home because it was very difficult to explain that side, and I don't blame my parents or anybody, but life was hard. And so I was one of these people that pushed myself out into the world to do my own thing. So I think when I was that young lad, 17 years of age, I cut a disc at Timpan Alley called The Wings of a Dove. No, what was it called? No, it was, oh God, I can't even think of the name of it.
The little town in the old country.
That's
town?
it. Well, yeah, that's correct. I fancied myself as an operatic singer. Oh my God, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Do you think that was, because before we go, do you think you got influenced during the period that you maybe away from your parents into the kind of career choices you've made today?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm one of these people, it's hard to explain. I knew that I wanted to do something, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I moved into Bow in the East End of London, and my friend Ronnie Millie, we used to run around as harmonica players called the Palm Mill Brothers, because I was a very, very bouncy person. I was here, there and everywhere. And I don't know, just something inside me made me want to do something. So I thought I wanted to sing, and then I was running around the West End of London, and my first place I ever worked, believe it or not, was in the Two Eyes Coffee Bar, but not so much inside the coffee bar as outside the Two Eyes Coffee Bar. I was begging.
Begging with performance.
Yeah, I'll always remember I was given a card, and it had on this card, because Tommy Steele was discovered at the Two Eyes Coffee Bar, and it had Larry Parnes, personal manager to Tommy Steele, and underneath it had John Kennedy, and John Kennedy gave me the card. Well, anyway, I was to meet him, but I didn't, because I ended up having somebody putting his hand over the top of me and saying, if you want to learn to sing, come with me.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be David Keller.
Okay, yeah.
And for many years, David, he did teach me to sing. He taught me to perform.
Yeah.
And because you got to be born with charisma, you got to have personality, presentation, and he gave me the first stages of it, and I brought myself out from that, and that's what I did. I started in holiday camps. I was a blue coat for Pontins in 1964.
The Kennedy, that was under the Film Craft Studios, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sound Film Craft, what they call the services.
Yeah.
Something across, was in Piccadilly somewhere around that way.
Harrogate as well, according to the...
Harrogate up at the, that was, what was it? Heidi Claxton's...
Young Merlin
People's Theatre, that's correct, yeah. And because that's where I first started with a chap called Roger Dean and many other actors and who were well-known actors in their days. I started there, Eddie Claxton's trio. Then I was doing holiday camps. I became a buttling redcoat.
Yeah.
And then I went from a buttling redcoat, I became... which Marjorie's Stories used to have a review of entertainers, used to sort of work all the buttling and holiday camps, and I became one of her proteges.
Okay.
But I'll always remember she booked me to become a romantic gypsy singing Golden Earrings. These are something for you. And I thought, me being a romantic, tall, handsome gypsy, I don't think so. But then, then I carried on. I went to the Sandown and Shanklin theatres on the Isle of Wight, and I was on with Teddy Johnson and Pearl Carr.
Okay.
I'll always remember my first gig, and I'll always remember going for my band call, and Teddy Johnson and Pearl Carr walked in and said, "Oh, you can cut that number," because I was doing one of my harmonica numbers at the time. That's ours. So I cut it out and put something in just as powerful. And I always remember him saying to me when we were on the Red Funnels, or whatever the name of the ferry was, on the way home, he said, "Clever little bugger, you know." He didn't say exactly, I won't say exactly what he did say. But he was a nice person. They were quite nice people, you know, so I had some fun, you know.
Okay. So one of your early films I found while researching on you was in 1960 called Tin Pin Alley.
Tin Pan
Tin Pan Alley.
Oh, Tin Pan Alley, that's where I made most of my acetapes. One was the Wings of a Dove, or something I think of it. Oh, Little Town in the old county down. That was the one I cut in Tin Pan Alley. Then I did Is It True? And there was a couple of other ones I did.
And that was in the 60s, wasn't it?
That was in the 60s. Yeah. I went from that, also studied television, and things like that. But my first film I did was a film called Groupie Girl, which is a cult movie now. And I worked with Donald Sumpter, you know. He was a good actor, nice. He's in Chernobyl at the moment. He's did quite a lot of stuff. But there's a comparison between the two of us. He did the new series of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I did way back in the 70s Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. And I played the young apprentice who punched information out.
Not the sister, though.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you certainly got my history.
Okay, so and then later on you got to do in 1975 The Land That Time Forgot.
Yeah.
And that was one of your biggest roles.
Well, what it was, I'll tell you the story about this. I had an agent called Dennis Beecher in Museum Street in London. He was my agent at the time. He said, Bobby said, I want you to go down to Shepperton Studios and meet Johnny Dark.
Okay.
He said, there's a role I think it'll suit you. He wants a comedian. I said, oh, what's it, a comedy film? He said, go down and meet him.
Yeah.
So I did. I went down to Shepperton Studios and I met Johnny Dark. He said, are you a comic? I said, yeah. Well, I think so, because I was a double act as well. Chalk G'd, I've done everything. Yeah, and I used to do, I was a speciality act, beating razor blades and swords for the head, you mentioned it, and stand-up comic. Yeah. So I said, yes, I am a bit of a comic, you know. So he said, do you know what you're going to do? I said, no. He said, can you read? I said, well, try. What do you want me to read? And he put the script in front of me. He'd underlined these bits. He said, can you read that line? So I said, Bolu, bottle one. He said, no. He said, more things. He said, Bolu, bottle one. No. He said, can you be extinct?
Okay.
So what do you mean by extinct?
Well, caveman.
Yeah, can you feel extinct? So I said, whoa. I went, Bulu, bottle. Oh, this is brilliant. He went, come in here, Kevin, quick, you got to see him. Bring Morris with you. Morris was the designer, you know, did all the artwork. So I said, don't mind me asking, but who am I supposed to be playing? He said, Morris Carter said, see this drawing here, is that little ape man dropping out the mouth of that pterodactyl, that's you. Oh. So I said, don't mind me asking, why did you want a comedian? Well, he said, tell a gag. If you were actually working in a club now, or some venue, how would you tell your gag? And I suddenly cottoned on what he was saying. I said, well, if I were telling a gag, you use the audience. Well, the audience is left, it's the right, the centre, the gods.
Yeah.
So if I would tell a gag, I can't think of one at the moment, but I would tell the gag that way, that way, and even the gods, you see. So that was the idea. What he wanted was, he wanted somebody, because he was a comic, if I'm talking to you, we're talking face to face. Now, if you're talking to me, I would understand every word you said. But if I'm extinct, I wouldn't know what you're saying.
Yeah, because you'd be...
That's it.
All over the place.
All over the place. See, so that was the idea of that particular side. And I'll always remember Johnny saying, you're on the first run of the ladder now, and you can only go forward with us. And I did the Earth's Core and had my finger chopped off.
Oh.
So
nice.
So,
fond memory there then.
A very fond memory. It was chopped off by the actor called Doug McClure.
Okay, so...
He was well known in the early days. He was called Trampus in a series called The Virginian.
Right.
Lovely person, because he's gone now, you know.
So what happened then? What
well, in the Earth's Core, I'm what you call a Sagoth.
Yeah.
And I'm the Sagoth chief of all the Sagoths, and they've tunnelled underneath the ground, and of course they're miles underground, as you appreciate, and they meet this sort of race of weird creatures.
Yeah.
And there's a funny part. They asked me to do lines, but no lines. Make your own lines up. So I'm giving an example. Yeah. I've got this long whip like that, and they're my captives. Yeah. And I'm a treader. I said, no. It's too African. Oh, he said, just do gibberish. So like, brilliant. Brilliant. So that was the Earth's Core. Yeah. But then there was a scene where Doug is getting away from me, he's my captive.
Yeah.
And of course he's got a live chopper on him, and he's chopping away, you see, and I'm being shoved forward because he knocked me down on the ground.
Yeah.
I've got up and I'm running forward. Remember, we're in portcullises and everything in these weird sort of caves, and in this portcullis, you see, where we are, we're in this like cave with the portcullis coming down.
Yeah.
All the crowd artists are shoving me forward onto it.
Yeah.
And of course I'm held onto it, and Doug with his chopper took my finger off. Wow. So that was that. But I will tell you something about one of the pieces of that film which always has amused me. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I think I've seen it once or twice, yeah.
Well, it's like you've got a big auditorium, you know, massive big cave, and you've got little cutouts. Like, you remember Superman flew out of one, because it was done in that set, right, by the way. Okay, it was done in the Bond film set. Okay. Well, in the auditorium, they got a long rock sticking out the middle, like they did with King Kong, and they put their captive on it, right. You see. Yeah. That's it, you've got a human being there. And all of these cutouts, you've got these like bird-like creatures, you see.
Okay, yeah.
Well, what they do is they fly out and they go for their prey, and fly away. Well, I wanted to know how that sound was done, and I found out that, I can't remember if Derek Meddings, one of them told me, it was the famous Johnny Rees-Muller, Tarzan's voice. You know, it's in reverse.
Oh, wow.
So you go, whoop! So that's the score.
So what other fond memories do you have from film sets? Now, you have done a lot of films, especially sort of smaller character roles, like you was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Yeah. You've been in Oliver. You've even done things like Popeye, from what I've read. Private Eye you've played.
Yeah, Mrs Hardy, Adamant, Stars and Garters, Honey Lanes, Love Story, quite a few, as I say, A Hunter's Walk, a German language program called Vibiter. But what I must tell you, when I went for the audition of Oliver, I was at Drury Lane Theatre, and I'll always remember them saying, you know, oh no, I had to go along and sing, by the way. Yeah. So my piece was a piece that Bruce Forsyth had sung in a program called Little Me. Yeah. He played 7 different characters, and one of the songs he sang on it was called Real Live Girl. Yeah. So I'm up for my audition piece, and I'm, pardon me, Miss, but yeah, that's great. Can you dance? I said, oh yes. Well, I couldn't. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen the bit where they're all dancing along like this. You said a piece of meat. Yeah. And they go through a gate, or whatever it is, if it's a piece of meat eventually, and swing round. They jump the table, jump down here, pick up the piece of meat, chop, consider yourself, chop. So here I am doing this, you see. And there's the 2 choreographers, which is Holland White and Tom Panker. And they said, wait, what do you think you are, Baby Elephant? I said, I'm on this film to sing. She said, on this film you've got to dance and clear the floor and do it. Well, this particular film was a big American production. Yeah. It was an English, you know, story. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously Oliver. So here, a big American production. So the whole of London practically wants to see this, and the whole of London was practically on the film. But all the studios all come out to watch these first days of rehearsal. Yeah. You got Oliver Cromwell going, Half a Sixpence going on. You got Christopher Reeve there waiting to be doing Superman, and then you got Sammy Davis Jr. there with Peter Lawford, and even Jerry Lewis was there at the time. Wow. And I'll always remember Sammy say after, you know, we've got a break, he said, come out, I'll show you a few steps. Well, not did I go out, but all the dancers went out. And this man just went into a routine. Yeah. And he was one of the most loveliest people you could ever have met. He was so lovely, unbelievable. And that was I think, one of my fondest memories of all. Okay.
Who, during your time of acting, obviously, who out of actors that were already famous were quite the influence or the inspiration in your form of acting?
I don't know, really. I don't know. I could tell you in the entertainment world because, for instance, I was working in, I was doing a
Sure.
pantomime called Mary King Cole, not Mary King Cole, Robinson Crusoe with Ken Dodd.
Okay.
And I always remember saying to Ken, "Oh, what's the secret of a good comic?" He said, "Boy, watch me tonight." And I said, "All right, Ken." So he said, "Just watch me." I said, "I will."
Yeah.
So I'm in the wings, you see, because I was doing I was what you call backing artist for backing singer, sorry, for Happiness. You go, happiness, happiness. He's singing. I go, happiness, happiness in the back line. Anyway, so I watched him tell a gag, and now Ken, he says there were 2 brushes in the cupboard. Once a night, I feel like a little bristle. He said, "Don't be silly. We haven't swept together." Now, it was a silly gag, but then Ken would say, "They laughed on the left.
Yeah.
They've laughed in the middle. The gods are laughing. But the millionaires over..." Hold a minute, and he's got his hands. There are 2... What he was doing was he was milking the audience.
Yeah.
But he taught me how to use expression, how to milk an audience. Well, I mean, I never went to milk an audience deliberately, but it was part of your comedy side. So yeah, so that Ken, lovely person. And I have met a lot of performers in their days, and there's some really nice ones around. Most of the actors there's a lot of actors around, but I think the old actors, I'm probably a man of the past. Yeah. I do like the old Hollywood musicals. So
now, you have done some TV stuff, and quite frankly, I think a probable one to mention that most people would recognise is Doctor Who.
Yes, way back with William Hartnell, you probably wouldn't recognise, but you probably wouldn't get his ended up on the cutting room floor.
Oh, right.
But I did work with Wanda Veteran, which is Cumberbatch. What's his name?
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Cumberbatch. That's his mother.
Yeah.
And she was playing a Swedish, some Swedish strip artist, or I don't know, whatever it was. But we were like what we call a private film company, and everywhere she went, so we went. So if she was in bed, so we'd be on the bed with her. And I was the clapper boy. You see, in this little film company that we had. So every time she did something, I'd get the clapper boy. Then, "Vast horizons of the mind, shot 764, take 16. You see. And I'll always remember when I said that originally, I said vast horizons, and they said keep it in, it's brilliant. That's some of it, you know.
Ah, okay. Now, from what I picked up reading about you, you also did some photography, which ended up in the Private Eye magazine.
That's absolutely true. I've still got the photograph.
Oh, wow.
I was standing there doing a model pose like this, right upright, and Private Eye had got the photograph and put a long pole through my hand, through there, and it says, "The largest pipers of Dunhill." That was my cat modelling days. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also read that you was involved in Heidi, Heidi, Hi.
Well, no. What it is, my agent at the time was Peter Regan.
Okay.
Now, he had 2 daughters. One was Carol Drinkwater, who did All Creatures Great and Small. But the other one was Linda Regan. Okay. And Linda was in Heidi High. And because Peter said to me, "Do me a favour, Bobby, take Linda round with you, teach you to do kiddie shows," because I was a pretty well-known children entertainer, known as Uncle Peanuts. So that's how I got. That was the Heidi High scene with that particular side of things, because it was Peter's daughter. But I was in the real Heidi Highs.
Okay, wow.
I mean, when you think of that, I mean, I was an entertainment manager and holiday camps. I did Madison's. You mentioned the holiday camps. I probably worked there, and I was always like the #1, or I became the entertainment manager. But in the early days, I was probably just little Bobby, the kiddies entertainer, Punch and Judy and Magic, etc. So
wow.
I had a bit of a run around. And I was the real Heidi High. And I'll tell you one thing, when I was about in Medcoat, way back in the 1965, I think it was, or 64, we used to be, on a Saturday it was called changeover day,
Yeah.
and we had to be inspected. You had to get all your clothes on, your red coat, your tie, your shoes, and you had to be paraded. And Mr. Roberts, or whatever his name was, I think he was a sergeant or something. He used to come along and, you know, check your attire, and he'd say, "You, hair, shoes, attire, you know, you're all right, Bobby. Keep going. You mix and mingle. More of that. I like the way you look." And she was like that. So they liked me because I'm a little bouncy person, and I used to run about. I was here and everywhere, and I'll always remember what they used to say: "Get that little bugger! I'm going to stick him in the bloody pool." Because I would run around in the early hours of the morning. I've got to tell you, this is true. Butlins used to have what they call sittings.
Okay, yeah.
Now, sittings would be in the morning. You'd have 6:30 White House pennants for their breakfast. Then at 7:30, you'd call out the blue tenants out for their sitting. So I used to sort of come on the microphone in the morning. "Good morning, campers. This is your red coat, Bobby. It's a lovely day out there." And I'd have this piece of music going on, theme for young lovers. Percy Faith. Percy Faith's theme for young lovers. You see, and then I'd do all this lovely spill. And all of a sudden I put zippity-doo-doo, zippity, oh! Hated me.
Deep song of the South.
I was
Lovely.
I was a menace. There you are.
So you also did some stage stuff as well. So you Mary King Cole.
Yes, I was in with Harry Worth in Mary King Cole up at the Apollo Theatre in Bristol. Yeah. He gave me a clock when I got married for my marriage. He was a nice person. Yeah, so the Mary King Cole, I did Robinson Crusoe, and at Westminster Theatre I did 3 pantomimes there. I did Silly Billy in Mother Goose. Yeah. And in Aladdin I played Wishy Washy, and in Pinocchio I played the ringmaster and something else, but I can't remember. Any
other fun memories you have, like anything that happened on either on stage or behind the scenes that people would not have known about?
So many things, but you know, putting the brain box now and trying to remember it is another matter. I think the brain's getting dull, getting old, so old thing. There are fond memories, there are some, you know, funny things, but at the moment it's awkward to remember.
Okay then. So you also at one point, according to what I've read, was on the 10 o'clock news.
That was with Ringo Starr. I was a Blue Mimi. Now, they were cartoon characters, of course, in the film. But I was booked to do, funny enough, I got the contract in there. I was booked for 4 guineas, by the way, that was my fee, and I had to pay the agent 10% of it, to drive the yellow submarine around the West End of London, and then appear on the 10 o'clock news with Ringo Starr. I don't know if it's called 10 o'clock news in those days, but it was the news at 10, whatever. And but we had to go to Bowwaters in Knightsbridge to meet the Beatles at the time, and they had what they call a big photo shoot of it. So so
wow. So
and they were nice boys, lovely. Oh, great lads. Fun.
What else did I find out? Oh yes, talking about your thing. So also you was in a crime series in you played Rodney the jock. Who done it?
Yeah, who done it? Yeah, I was really the jockey, and I did do it. Yeah, that's Gary Mayman, I think his name was. I can't remember the name of the actor. It was a long, long time ago.
And you also did a stint on Blue Peter as well.
Yeah, I was interviewed on Blue Peter Nationwide, Clapperboard and Magpie on the film The Land That Time Begun. And I remember Jenny Hanley, because we was also on with Muhammad Ali. And I remember having to give her the false forehead
Yeah.
I'll tell a funny story. There is another funny story. And Jenny, Jenny to put it on her, you know.
Yeah.
But there was a funny story because Doug was a bit of a lad. He loved to laugh.
Yeah.
And it used to take me 5.5 hours to get made up into this character called Arm. So Doug said to me after I'd just been made up, he said, Bob, he said, we're going to go up to Shepperton, the village. I said, oh, okay, Doug. I said, what for? You just come. All right, Doug. So we've gone up, they walked into a pub.
Yeah.
He said, no, I know what you're worrying. He said, we've just found him. He's extinct. And he's a great friend of mine.
Dear.
And you would have thought that the country yokels knowing Shepperton Studios were down there, that this was a plot, or whatever. But no, they believed what they were seeing, that they'd found this extinct Aborigine, or whatever you call him, ape man.
Wow.
But he did kill him on. He said, his name is Arm.
Okay.
Oh, he was a nice, lovely person.
Oh, excellent. So, I also heard at one point you worked for Cadbury.
Yep, yeah, Peter Cadbury's chocolate. It was Peter Cadbury that I did the film The Lamb That Time Forgot, and he asked me at the time would I like to do Coronation Street. And I didn't want to at the time because I think I was doing something else. But he booked me into the Score film. That's Peter Cadbury's. But I did do commercials. Yeah. I did a Cadbury's chocolate, Cadbury's fruit nutcase. Yeah. I also did Viner's Cutlery. Okay. With Jack Smethurst. And one of the commercials I did was called This Little Cube. It's an OXO commercial. Okay. And that was shot in 1960 sometime, whatever. Yeah. I still got my beat coming on that occasionally, Yeah. Yeah, I did a few commercials.
Yeah, and Tiger in the Tank.
Yes, there's a lovely story there. Now, I'm driving a buggy, see? Okay. And I'm coming down the A3. Yeah. I think it's called the A3, the Kingston Bypass.
All right, well, I'm not driving, but I believe you.
Well, anyway, what it is, I'm driving this buggy, see, and I could see in front of me, which appeared to be a blonde woman. Yeah. She's leaning against the lamppost, her hair, long blonde hair. Yeah. So, because I drive on, you see, pull up, and it turns around, it's a fella. And he whistles to all his mates, they all come rolling in and jump into the car, the buggy are driving, and we pull into an SO station. And my getaway was in why they run into the loop, I'd gone off. But another one talking about that, I also did that when I did Groupie Girl. Okay. Now that was a funny film, the one with Donald Sumter. Yeah. I was the comedy side of that. Yeah. And I played Ray in the Orange Butterfly Group. And there was a scene where I'm sleeping in the van, you see, and I'm in a sleeping bag, you see, but they've all got out. You see, they all pulled into to this petrol station, all going to the loo or whatever. And of course, they've got the Cox twins. I can't think of them. No, what are they? A very famous twins they are. Okay. They did that film called Twins of Evil. Okay. It was a Hammer horror film, whatever.
Yeah, the Hammer horrors. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm like, if you can imagine, I'm laid up, my head's up the front entrance of the front
of the vehicle. Yeah.
And my legs are at the bottom in the sleeping bag. Yeah. So what they did was they tied my legs with a bit of rope and tied it round one of the gas, when you get your petrol. Yeah. And they drove off, and of course you see me jump out on the front, and you see me running along there, jumping onto it. Yeah. And that's in the film, and of course there's quite a few stills in that. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Another one, yeah.
So, do you have any memories of the time when you was in the Robin Hood and Prince of Thieves?
Yeah. The particular scene I did, it was a very small part. Yeah. I played the villager. I'm the one that says, "God bless you, Fanny," and "God bless Robin Hood." Well, there was another line that says, "I see you back with John Little," because she played him. And I remember Kevin Costa said to me, "Do you mind if I direct this scene?" I said, "No, of course not." I said, "You're the main star." He said, "Everybody's a star in this film." Wow. And I thought, really nice. You're a really nice person. Wow. Yeah, so, and it's quite a thrilling film when you think the fact that you had Morgan Freeman on there, who was not known. Christian Slater didn't even know who they were, and here we are, and we see them for the first time, and we didn't know who they were, you know, to be learned later on, you know, and Kevin Costner was kind of brand new as well, you know. So.
And you had the likes of Alan Rickman, who's an extremely well-known theatre actor.
Yes, Alan Rickman, Yes, I did have a meeting with him in the green room.
Okay.
And I did say to him, very nice, Alan, he was having a hard day, I won't say.
Okay. Well, he was playing a character who generally is having a hard day all the time.
But he is a brilliant actor. He was a brilliant actor, I should say. And,
he was.
You know, so you meet people, you do meet some really nice people, you meet some really people that have got a chip in their shoulder, you know. I mean, I was one of the Animal Quackers. I don't remember that series, do you?
Animal Crackers?
No, Quackers.
Quackers?
K-W-A-C-K-R.
Okay.
Yeah, Bongo, Rory, Twang and Boots. Rory, tell us a story.
Okay.
I had to go around all the theatres and I used to do 3/4 of an hour of magic, exciting the children. Yeah. And then when I got the kids all excited, I popped round into the Bongo costume. I was Bongo the dog.
Ah, okay.
It was like a little pop group.
Yeah.
The major thing was that you'd like to see an animated, like a spaceship flying through, and the tube come down. And, hi, I'm Bongo. You see, you slide down, and I'm Rory. I'm Twang. I'm Boots. Well, Rory's Twang and Boots. Rory was a big blue lion, and used to tell the stories. Bongo the dog was myself. There was Twang the monkey, and then you had Boots the tiger.
Okay.
And then we'd end up on the stage, and what it would be would when we were doing the live shows, as the music was being played, do you believe in old King Cole? Animal, all this, and the spotlights would be going around like this on the curtain, and then they would open up, and we'd be facing like the back wall, the audience behind. And we turned around, do you believe in old King Cole? Into the starship, and off we go. And he goes, Animal Quackers, Bongo, Rory, Twang and Boots, you know. And it was Rory tell us a story, and he would sit down, tell a story, and then we'd end up doing pop songs, you know.
So what was the last thing you ever filmed or appeared in?
The last thing I did was called the Coptic Kids. Very small thing. It was done by Johnny Dark's boys, Gregory and Dan Dark, because they were shooting a series called El Dorado, and it was done in Spain in a place called Coin. Yeah. And they just gave me something very small because I think my halo had dropped, and of course I'd lost my finger, and it's a long story. Once you start falling off the rungs of a ladder, and of course then I did the Coptic Kids, but then I started doing a double act called Chalk and Cheese. Okay. Yeah. And I went around all the continent, you know, doing the act, and then I opened up a video shop. You know, I was the first video shop in England. Wow. Which was called, originally it was called Sound Film Projection Services, then it became Belvedere Video, then it became Piccadilly Video, then it became Broadway Video. Then we sold out to Blockbusters.
And then Blockbusters sold out to the internet.
And then we was also the first, believe it or not, I was called BCP Leisure Services, the first boot fairs. We signed them off as well. Wow. Long history, a lot of things.
So, in all of this, and especially in your time, you still kept up doing music, especially with the harmonica.
Yeah, well, what it is that, see, I've lived in studios all my life. I've been to, you mentioned the recording studios, I've worked in them all over the years. And then I met Mark, some 20 years ago or more. And of course, you know, those days I wasn't filming, I wasn't doing much really because my days had come to an end. And I just wanted to keep on recording, so I was writing songs. And I got to know Mark, and we just got together, and he started helping me along with my old stuff. I had many shows. which had been recorded with the holiday camp time. I was a very fortunate person. All my stuff was recorded.
Yeah.
So Mark had been enhancing it and putting it onto CDs, which eventually came from a reel-to-reel, then what they call audio cassette, then on the CD. But I'll tell you one thing, there was one time when I was doing my act at the time, and I had a tape of what they called oxide, a reel-to-reel tape, and the big inch tape. I mean, it was a specialised tape for recording artists. And I'll always remember going into the studio, Mark, when he had that equipment. I said, Mark, I do this number here. I've got a note missing. It's gone. It's oxide on the tape. And I'll always remember what he did. He cut it out. And he went right back to the beginning of the song. And he listened to the same note. And he cut it out. He edited. So,
wow.
He's quite clever, Mark.
Yeah.
In fact, he's quite a genius in himself. I don't think he realises how clever he is, because, you know, he's been a friend over the years as well. And he's done a lot of things for me. So, yeah.
I also just wanted to bring in a note. You've done books, children and adult books.
Yes, I've got The Other Side of the Puddle, Return to the Other Side of the Puddle, Further Ventures in Puddleland. I've got The Snail Queen. I've got some other one called some other one I can't think about, Rainbow Woods. Another one there, and then I've got Tommy's Ambition to be Mr. Punch. I've got The Prince and the Blackbird, and Timmy's Christmas Dream, which is edited and put together by Mark in his studio, which is on CD. And
quite a bit of the artwork was done by Jan Sibbald.
Yes, she was a lovely person. And of course, I don't know whether you know the story of the Avatar, but Mark, myself and Jan, I wrote the story. Mark edited the story and helped me with some of the story, because he would be proofing it, because he had a better grammar than I had. And Jan was doing the artwork. Well, anyway, we did send it round to quite a few companies, especially in America. And we did send one to James Cameron, who sent back asking for rewrites. So we did do the rewrites. We sent him some illustrations and the rewrite. Never heard no more. And Jan saw the Avatar, and she was very upset because she saw her artwork being used in that. And we sent about 8 letters to him. He totally ignored them all. So in the end, we gave up on it, you know, because I thought, well, who's going to believe an old age painter in England wrote the Avatar, you know what I mean? Which it isn't called the Avatar, it's called the Land of Tara, Tara Jungle. And the 2 princely characters weren't blue, they were golden humanoid fairy creatures. And the panoramic view of the Tree of Knowledge and Tree of Evil was invented by myself in the World of Pandora. Well, I'm rewriting the book again. We've had to change the World of Vanquish, and I've been on it now for a long, long time. I'm around about chapter 15. I've had to chuck a lot of it out and just rewrite the story again. So
that's just to avoid all this copyright and stuff. Okay, so now we're actually here today. And you've just finished today your latest CD. Do you want to tell the audience about your latest album?
It's all to do. It's to do with the harmonica. I've always played the harmonica since I was knee high, and I've always liked the harmonica with its purity of sound. Now you had the Mort Phrase harmonica. You've had, of course, the great Larry Adler, and if you listen to his music, he played it with a purity. Now, you can hear people vamp. I mean, I'm vamping on the record I've got now, but I'm also, apart from vamping on it, I do the single note music on it. For instance, one I'm doing, If I Loved You, I'm also doing a low note to it, as well as a high note. And the low note sounds like it's a cello, but it isn't. It's actually on a chromatic harmonica. But I wanted to show people that this is an instrument which people don't recognise. They only recognise, they think it's called a mouth organ, and it's a toy. It isn't. It's called the harmonica, and it really is a very serious piece of instrument, I should say. And I wanted to prove that there isn't any harmonica players around. You can vamp them in groups. You can see them in old westerns vamping, and you get the blues, don't get me wrong, but just to have the single sweetness of that harmonica is one of the reasons I wanted to do it. So, yeah.
How many harmonicas do you own?
Well, I've got every key you can name. That's including all the keys apart from the half notes.
Okay.
So I've got them all, and I've got about 3 big chromatics. They're all in C, one is in G, that's my 4th one in G, and a little case with all my little small harmonicas in.
Yeah.
But the one harmonica I've got is it's about 1 inch long, and when I was working my act, because I was a double act called Chalk and Cheese, I used to go into a back bend, and I'd have the big harmonica player. Before I became a double act, when I was doing singly my act, I'd be put a little one in my mouth, and I'd have a big one on the outside of me playing like this, you see. And then as I did, I'd drop that, and I'd go into the back bend, and I'd roll over in the back bend like that. I'd be playing, kicking my legs up and down like that, playing the small harmonica. Now, I don't think anybody ever realised it could actually be played, so I decided that on this particular CD I've done, that I'm going to prove that it does actually play, so that's what I've done.
It's actually on the last track.
It's on the last track of it, yeah.
Excellent. So, how with all you've done now, how much more do you think you'll be doing?
Well, I can't do a lot because I do suffer with a disability. I suffer with severe arthritis, so I've got ankylosing spondylitis up in the neck, and I can't stand. You know, I can walk, but if I stand, I'm in pain. So I sit down to everything. So mainly, but yeah, I come here once a week to Mark's. It's the only bit of freedom I've got now because I'm married and I've got children, and I'm totally retired, so I don't do any work. I don't do any professional work, but I come in the studio here, and some of the songs I've written and played, Mark puts up on the web. It's for charity. I don't get anything out of it, and I don't want anything out of it. I'm not interested in it. I've had my days and my fun. I mean, I've got records out there. There's one that was done in 1977, a vinyl record, which I've written most of the stuff on. But yeah, I mean, I did speak to PRS one day about that, and they said, well, anything on the web these days, it's after 7 years, it's gone. But in the old days, it'd be 99-year contract, not anymore. So yeah, there's about 79 clips of out on the web, which various companies have got them. As I say, I don't make any money, not 1 penny out of the web. Not that I want to. I'm totally not really interested. I just like doing what I'm doing. I like playing the harmonica. I like writing songs, and I like writing books and things like that. So yeah.
Okay. What charities is your music supporting?
Well, I'm not sure of the name. I do apologise because Mark's got it on the web. If you go into his website, it's got it on there. So, I mean, I've done over the years. I've done stuff for charity. I've often done, you know, children that suffer with Down syndrome. If there was a charity doing, I'm able to get to it and do it, I would do it. But I'm afraid I can't these days. I don't get around much. As I said, I come here 1 day a week and I sit in the studio with Mark. It's fun. I just spend a couple of hours here, and I'm able to sort of do anything, you know, one of my songs, write it down, or I mean, he'll probably put a one track down, or I might do a harmonica track. He'll pick up the melody line and he'll make up a back track, and then it's all systems going, like, you know.
Excellent. So, as we're coming to the end of the evening, is there anything else you'd like to tell the audience? I mean,
well, I'd like to say to all the children, which are probably all adults, that I've worked for over the years, where I've done children's shows. I've gone into their houses as Uncle Peanuts, or Perky the Mad Magical Musical Clown, or whatever, and done shows over the years. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope that they can remember me from those days, because I was always classed when, if you saw Animal Crackers, the posters, it would say Ace Children's Entertainer, Bobby Parr, and that to me is something I really, really enjoyed more than anything.
Okay, well, my final two questions is, A, what is your favourite colour?
green.
And B, what one piece of advice do you think everyone should know?
Well, if you want to go into this business, right, and this is important,
Yeah.
you must have charisma and personality, presentation. But there's an old remedy. If you say I can't, you never will. If you say I can, I will do. There's no such word as can't.
Excellent.
If you want to do it, go and do it. If it's somebody says to you, well, what have you done? If it took you 99 years of your life trying to do something, then you've done it. Even if you never make it, you've had a go.
Excellent.
You didn't sit back and say, I can't do it.
Thank you for coming and letting me interview you today for the TMR Records. So this is Daniel Antony Smith and Bobby Parr signing off.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Daniel.
you.